So, did you hear that the Cash App founder, Bob Lee, who was stabbed to death, you remember that?
Yeah, I do actually.
Do you know that they locked up the dude who did it? And Bob Lee was supposedly going to like these underground sex parties with her, and
Gross.
for whatever reason, something happened, I guess, that provoked her brother to stab Bob Lee. And now he's locked up and he's claiming that it's accidental. It was
I mean,
accidental.
I've never accidentally stabbed anyone. So, what's the fate for Cash App's future?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm sure there's an heir to that shit somewhere. I
I
don't
wish it
know.
was me. Um,
Yeah, no, me too.
all right, well, R.I.P. Bob Lee, I guess.
Fuck it. I don't know what you were into, dude, but we'll wait till the trial paperwork comes out and see what's going on with that.
Ruth.
Alright, so.
All right, so today we're gonna talk about Brianna Maitland. This case pisses me off because someone's hiding information, someone's heavily lying, and someone's really gonna be exposed here in the next hour. So let's get
Mm-hmm.
right down to it. Brianna Maitland, in case nobody knows who she is, this happened in 2004. So damn, almost 20 years ago. That's insane. I was literally ending high school when this happened.
Damn.
I know,
I,
man. I'm old as hell. All right, so March 19th, 2004. Brianna is currently working at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery, Vermont. She leaves work that night. She's headed to a friend's house, and she never arrives. Unfortunately, it was a few days before she was reported missing. Nobody really knew that anything was going on with her, anything like that. The vehicle she was driving, which I'm pretty sure was registered to her mom, it's a 1985 Oldsmobile, older than I am. Damn. It was found backed into an abandoned building about a mile from the restaurant. Again, this is still in the time frame. Nobody knew that Brianna was missing, so nobody thought anything of finding the car, which is still wild to me. Like, you ran the plates, you towed it. Why didn't you notify the owners?
That's super weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, red flag. But you know, we're gonna honestly jump around a little bit. So I'm gonna give you a few dates and then I'm gonna go back and cover some stuff. Just stay with me. So in 2006, I don't even know how relevant this is, but I'm still gonna throw it out there just because it is a sighting, or a supposed sighting. In 2006, there was an alleged sighting at a casino in Atlantic City in New Jersey, but they never did find the person that was the alleged sighting to identify that person. I haven't seen like any pictures or anything to know if that person looks like Brianna. But I also feel like after looking at Brianna that she kind of had one of those faces that resembles a lot of different people. You know what I mean?
Like, you look like everybody?
Yeah, like you're like, man, I swear I've seen you somewhere before, and they're like, yeah, I get that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, possibly someone could have seen someone that resembled her. In 2004, law enforcement investigated a possible connection between her disappearance and a serial killer, Israel Keys. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I have not.
No.
Okay, so he did commit numerous rapes and murders in the Vermont, New York, Pacific Northwest area, but he was ruled out by the FBI. At that time, I mean, she still assumed to be alive. You know, no one's found a body or anything like that. So prior to her disappearance, this is where it starts getting kind of like what's going on with Brianna type of thing. So on her 17th birthday, she wanted to move away from her parents. They lived on a farm. She just didn't want to live there anymore. It wasn't because of any sort of issues at home or anything like that. She just wanted more independence. We can all relate to that. She wanted to be closer to her friends who lived a few miles away and attended a different high school. She did end up enrolling in her friend's school, but because she was bouncing around in living situations, she ended up dropping out. She did get her GED though, so good for her. She moved to Sheldon, Vermont with a childhood friend, and that's when she got her GED. So 3 weeks before she disappeared, this is where I start getting angry. 3 weeks before her disappearance, she was physically attacked at a party by a former friend. Clearly not a very good one. The girl seems like a psychopath. Her name's Keely LaCrosse. No one knows why the attack happened, but it is believed that it was over a guy at the party. None of that has been confirmed, but I mean, typically, you know, two females get in a fight. It's kind of what we all assume is it's over a guy, because I guess that's all females give a shit about, is men.
Dick.
You know, not me, but okay.
Can't relate.
Exactly. So Brianna was trained in martial arts, but she refused to fight Keely. And that could have just been a maturity thing. Like, I'm not going to stoop to your level. I don't have beef with you just because you have beef with me. Leave me the hell alone. Think what you want. Bitch, I don't want your man, type of thing.
Well, pause, because also this bitch Kaylee had already been in trouble with the law a lot and had a reputation, and she was kind of like a
Yeah, she just
bully.
seems like just one of those girls that's a damn problem, always out to start some drama.
But she got in trouble for a home invasion and shit like that too. So she was doing like wild, weird shit.
Right, this isn't some good little girl next door who bitch slapped her ex-friend at a party. No, I mean she broke Keely's nose and gave her a concussion. So, and that's all while Keely's sitting in a truck. Like that's insanity to me. And so here's the thing, here's the kicker. Brianna filed charges against Keely because of this
Mm-hmm.
attack. And then
As you should, Queen.
absolutely, as you should. I mean, she assaulted you over something stupid. But the complaint was dropped 3 weeks after Brianna went missing, and Keely was cleared of any involvement in her disappearance. I'm sorry, but no. How'd you clear her? I want to know how you cleared her because bullshit. I'm pretty sure she's the number one person that has information.
I wonder if that's like protocol that they have to clear the case because the girls just vanished. Like,
Maybe, but I mean, nobody
mm,
sat and thought, like, this is suspicious. 3 weeks ago, they got in a fight. Brianna presses charges, and now she's missing. 2 plus 2 still equals 4, doesn't it?
right. Oh,
Okay.
I wonder if that was like Keely's last strike and she was going to like for juvenile life till she was 21. Do you know how much older she is than Brianna? Brittany?
Actually, I didn't look that up. I don't know if there's any age difference. I'm not really sure. So the day of her disappearance, it was a Friday, March 19th. She took her GED exam. Her and her mom had lunch to celebrate, and then they went shopping. I never had that kind of relationship with my mom, but good for her. Brianna's mother states that Brianna was in good spirits. Nothing seemed off with her. But while they were waiting to check out from wherever they were shopping, something outside caught Brianna's attention, and Brianna told her she'd be right back. So her mom met her in the parking lot and said that at that moment, Brianna's nature kind of changed. She seemed shaken, agitated, just off. So whoever she happened to run into clearly said or did something that had an impact on her. Brianna said she needed to get ready for work. Her mom never asked her why she was upset. That was the last time her mom ever saw her, which I'm sure that moment probably replays in her mom's mind every single day. That's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. So when Brianna went to work and clocked out around 11:20, she was alone in her vehicle when she left. So she leaves at 11:20 p.m. at night, and remember she's supposed to be headed to a friend's house to a party or whatever. Never makes it. Nobody was ever seen in her vehicle when she left work. So at some point between leaving work and the mile down the road where her car was found, she had to have encountered somebody, unless aliens came and took her.
Well, you never know though.
We haven't ruled it out, just
Mm-hmm.
saying. So Saturday, March 20th, next morning, Brianna's car is found at an abandoned house. It's called the Old Dutchburn House. It's actually, I mean, I've seen the pictures, it seems pretty cool. Like back in the day when it still had life in it, it was probably a really nice house. Brianna's car was backed into it though in a weird way that kind of makes it look like the house stopped the car from backing up, like it backed up in a hurry or something.
You know what it
Because
reminded me of?
what?
This time where I tried to hit my son's dad with my car and I backed up and I popped up on the curb.
Oh god. Okay. We'll unpack that in another episode.
Yeah. Man, your life seems like a Harlequin nightmare, fool.
um so it hit the house hard enough that a piece of plywood that was covering one of the windows fell off onto the vehicle. There were also 2 of her paychecks found on the front seat, and outside of the car, police found some loose change, a water bottle, and an unsmoked cigarette. The sheriff assumed the car was abandoned by a drunk driver and just had it towed, didn't look into it. That's also very weird to me. I mean, I don't, maybe that's standard protocol, but that when you see a vehicle kind of in that state, you'd think some questions would be would be raised, especially since they found the paychecks in the car. Why wouldn't you maybe reach out to that person and be like, hey, so, we found your car. Is everything okay? But nothing. Like I said, she wasn't reported missing for a few days, and her mom knew nothing about the car being found until 5 days later. 5 days. Okay, so Tuesday.
That's when she went and reported Brianna missing, right?
Yeah, Tuesday, March 23rd, mom began calling people trying to find Brianna. No one had seen her, spoken to her. Thursday, March 25th, parents gave photos of her to the Vermont State Police. A trooper ended up showing them a picture of the car found at the old Dutchburn house. Mom felt someone else left the car there, not Brianna. And so do I, because of, like I said, how it was backed up and the fact that the seat was moved all the way back. I mean, Brianna's not a giant, so clearly she wasn't the one that backed the vehicle up. Also, like, I mean, if this isn't normal for Brianna to up and disappear, I'm wondering why it took so long for, like why none of her friends reached out to her mom to see if she knew where Brianna was, or, to say, like, hey, we haven't heard from her. She's not, like, answering our calls. Is something going on? Just nobody was affected by this. The night that she disappeared, a man who was driving by the house between 11:30 and 12:30 that night said the car's headlights may have been on, but he didn't see anyone. And then a second man drove by between midnight and 12:30 and recalled the turn signal flashing. So around that time, and this is not long after she got off work. Remember, she left work at 11:20. So around that time, I mean, someone's clearly messing with the vehicle for the headlights to be on and the blinkers to be flashing and stuff. Around 4 a.m., her former boyfriend says he drove past after a night of partying across the border. He thought he recognized the car but didn't see anyone. So even he didn't give a crap that he possibly saw her car. Next morning, passerby seen the car, thought it was odd, took pics. They found the same things. They also found some jewelry on the ground, a bracelet and a necklace. So, I mean, really, like, I know there was a couple limes and stuff found on the top of her vehicle also, which is really random to me. What did you have limes for? And how did they get there, though? How'd they get on top of the trunk? Who put them there? Like, this is all so weird to me, unless she left her vehicle there and got in someone else's vehicle and left, but I don't feel like there was any signs there that she was just going to up and disappear. And the timing, for me, is just very, very coincidental to her getting her ass beat, pressing charges, and boom, she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the information there is on the case. In 2004, police received an anonymous statement from an older female who implicated a couple different people in her disappearance and alleged murder. I mean, if people are claiming that she was murdered, then I would be taking that serious, and I would be pushing and grilling anyone and trying to find a body. I mean, to go from disappeared to dead that's why I feel like somebody knows something. If we're making accusations against a couple people and we're throwing the word murdered in there, people know something. There's claims that her body was allegedly dismembered with a table saw and disposed of on a pig farm.
They did go drain that manure pit, and there was no body there.
Law enforcement could not corroborate anything in that letter. The owner of whatever house that she was being held against her will in a house in Berkshire by a man named Raymond Ryans and another man named Nathaniel Charles Jackson, two known drug dealers from New York. That house was raided April 15, 2004. A bunch of drug paraphernalia was discovered, as well as cocaine and marijuana, but there was no sign of Brianna. Ryans was arrested during the raid for the drug charges, obviously. Law enforcement was informed by some of her close friends that Maitland had experimented with hard drugs in the past, specifically crack cocaine. I mean, it's something that does happen. I mean, not everyone ends in disappearance or murder. So the woman who sent the letter to the police, this letter contained like very graphic details that Maitland had been murdered a week after her disappearance. And it claims that Raymond Ryans murdered her during an argument over money that she had lent to him to purchase crack, and that her body had been temporarily stored in the basement of a recently incarcerated local woman's home. I don't know what's going on with all these different people, but I don't want to
You
go to
wouldn't.
Vermont at all.
Yeah,
So,
they're wilding over east.
yeah.
You wouldn't think that this was because she owed somebody some money for drugs. She had two like whole uncashed paychecks in
Yeah.
her car.
Yeah.
Like they were
Well,
still in the car.
she's the one that lent this guy the money,
Oh,
supposedly. But so now that I'm thinking about it, if this anonymous person that came and, you know, gave this letter with this extensive graphic detail, why are we not looking into this person? Because maybe they had something to do with it and they're trying to pin it on someone else. I mean, if you're over here in detail describing someone's death and where they were put, I mean, the Maitland family reported that they had received several anonymous phone calls from people claiming that Maitland was tied to a tree in the woods and that she'd been disposed of at the bottom of a lake. So, like, people are coming up with all these different stories, come to the family, and I'm sure that's got to be extremely hard to be getting
mind
calls like
you,
that about your missing child.
Keeley has a history of distributing heroin and cocaine to people also. So, and then
Right.
her brother got locked up in like, I think 2013 for trafficking heroin or something like that. So, like, the whole family probably is involved in that kind of life. And so, if Brianna was like, she was 17, so she was in that like, I want to be free, party, experiment type of phase. You know what I'm saying? So, she probably was friends and then turned customer and I just feel like those people, they're liars. So of course they're going to leave anonymous tips and send the police off to distract them. Like that's I don't know, I just feel like it's them, you know?
Yeah, I agree. This isn't a case with no answers. It's not. Law enforcement doesn't have any answers, but plenty of people involved in this do. How heavily do you think this weighs on people? Is Keely still a drug user? Because if she is, it's probably because she's trying to drown out the guilt that she feels for probably murdering this girl. I don't care. I'm going to say it right here on the podcast. I heavily suspect that Keely,
Allegedly.
yeah, she allegedly killed her, but I 150% believe that she did, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
I don't allegedly believe it. I fully 100%. She's prime suspect in my book. I don't care.
yeah, we can't really say also that she's dead until we find her. Like that's the whole thing, you know? That with no body, there's nothing that they can do except ask questions, and that's what really sucks about a lot of these unsolved cases.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, how do we go about getting someone to talk or do the right thing? Like, just do the right thing. At some point, the truth will come out. At some point, you're gonna get sloppy. You're gonna end up speaking to the wrong person on a
Yeah.
drunken night or something, thinking you can confide in the wrong person, and it's gonna backfire. And the longer it goes on, you would think the more trouble you'll be in. Like, you're better off at some point to just be like, you know what, this is what happened, and I've been holding it in forever. Because,
Yeah. I mean, that's people with a guilty conscience, though. I feel
well,
like
when
you
she's
put
85 years old, laying in the nursing home with dementia, fucking spewing about it, I hope they still come arrest her dumb ass and throw her in prison.
Well, I mean, she'll probably be there because also in 2013, she got into a high speed chase running from the police with her infant child in the back
Yeah,
seat.
that's so trashy and disgusting. What the hell is wrong with you? Even OJ wasn't as reckless to have his kids in the car when he sent the police on a fucking wild ass chase. Let's go to Vermont and start questioning people.
Speaking of,
How long's the plane ride? I got a 2.5 hour max.
she's not hard to get a hold of. She's on Facebook talking to herself under burner accounts
Yeah,
or her
that's
friends'
also
pages.
so weird to me. Why are you having full blown conversations back and forth under first off, how much time is that taking, or are you on like separate devices? Because if you gotta log out and log in every time, you're doing too much. If you're doing all
I
this to
just
try to convince others that you're innocent, bro, you're a whack job. You got more wrong with you than I
Well, that's
know.
that's the whole point, though. She's allegedly a crackhead, so I mean that's probably normal conversations with herself. So she probably just typed it out from two
I
profiles.
know someone else like that. So,
Who me?
nope, talking about the
Oh,
alleged crackhead part, having conversations with herself all the time.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's a whole other episode too. But yeah, let's
yeah.
let's talk about the possibilities of what happened. What do you think?
I think when I heard about the story, minus the crack cocaine part, I thought to myself, Brianna sounds like young me, right? She moved out because she thought she had the world figured out. She bumped heads with her mom, but they still communicated, Allegedly she got like molested by a neighbor when she was younger. So she was carrying trauma, and she probably attracted other friends, as did I in that age range that she shouldn't have been around. And unfortunately for her, she experimented with like harder drugs, and it didn't turn out. But she was like house to house living with her friends, like how I used
Yeah.
to be with you, weeks at a time. um,
Weeks, shit.
the way the car is weird, but the fact that all of these like anonymous tips keep coming to the police about where she is or what happened or what started it's weird. I feel like the car was a staged thing, you know?
So, okay, let me tell you this. So, the Vermont State Police, they didn't believe any foul play was involved. They went with the possibility that Brianna was a runaway. I hate when they jump to that conclusion right away. Like, it's like, are you just being lazy and you just don't even want to try to do this because it's going to be too much work for you? So you assume, oh, young girl disappeared, must have ran away. That's a cop out, bro. They did
Well,
supposedly. I'm saying I don't trust shit. They allegedly did a thorough comb of the area where her car was found, had search dogs and everything. How was her scent not picked up then? Maitland, her Brianna's vehicle, it went through the state crime lab. When her dad got it back, he said that her ATM card, her glasses, her contact lens case, her migraine medication, that had all been inside the vehicle. That does not sound like someone that's going to run away. I'm at least taking my migraine medication with me, damn.
yeah, and the fact that she never came back for those
Right, she didn't want any
uncashed
money.
checks. I'm just speaking from experience myself, because there was a time where I had two cars, the Hyundai Sonata, and then I got that big ass truck. I left the Sonata with all my stuff in it, and I ended up coming back for it, but it was towed.
So we had talked about the fact that she was trained in martial arts. So in
Right.
2007, the fucking Mayberry police ended up concluding that probable cause was foul play in her disappearance. Okay, what changed your mind in 3 years?
Mm.
And so the FBI was involved. They felt like, just like you, that the whole vehicle thing was staged to appear as an accident. And Brianna's parents feel like she was abducted by multiple people. They think that it would have been impossible for one person to take her down, considering her jujitsu training. I hate trying to say that word. Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
So they feel I mean it could be a classic case of sex trafficking. But what's also weird,
Okay, no, no, we're not going to do that. Hold
what?
on. It could be trafficking, or it could be prostitution. Let's consider both.
Like willingly?
Yes, that's the difference, please. Because they're in this era now where they're calling like everybody who's a pimp to willing female participants traffickers, and that's not what it is. So,
But she had two paychecks and probably money in her bank account. Why does she need to be a prostitute?
shit, to help out with whoever's bills that she's staying with and then to support her drug habit. You never know. You can never have too many streams of income. I don't
Well,
know.
what's
I don't know.
also weird to me though is I know I've brought this up to you before, but the month before is when Mara Murray vanished into thin air. And
Mm.
this was like 90 miles from where Brianna disappeared. That's really not that far. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, are they connected?
Is that the victim of like the Israel Keys guy, or is she still
No,
missing
Mara
too?
Murray's still missing too. That's a case that we'll also have to
Oh.
get into. It's a very interesting case. She was driving home late at night and her car was found. I think one of the doors was open. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere. She did go and knock on somebody's door for help, somebody had said, but she was never seen again after that. So it's a very
Hmm.
wild case, also. Yeah, we'll have to unpack that another day.
So I wanna say this, because 2004, I was a teenager who didn't have a cell phone yet, right? And so I'm trying to like think to myself, is this a year where people had cell phones, like everybody had a cell phone? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like where the how would we not be tracking phone records? Like what was going
Ooh,
on?
ooh, ooh, ooh. And I can't forget to tell you this. Okay, So March 2016, okay? The case's 12th anniversary. Investigators revealed to a local TV station that they had recovered DNA samples from Brianna's car. The results, though, were not made public. In July of that year, that farmhouse, the old Dutchburn house, was destroyed in a fire. Maybe because it held evidence. I don't know. I want to
Okay.
know if they went inside of that house and checked for anything.
Also, the night that she went missing, it was like 8 degrees that night, so everyone's arguing that if there were like limes or a lime wedge or whatever the story is on the trunk, it would have frozen, and it was like, nah, it was room temperature when they
Yeah,
found it.
see?
So are these all rumors? Like, where is the documentation saying that those items were for sure at the scene of
There
the
is a
crime?
picture.
Like,
Hold on, I'll send it to you, but give me just a second. So in March 2022, the Vermont State Police revealed that they had a match to that DNA sample that they pulled from the car. But they have not released the identity of the person, but what they did say is it belongs to one of 11 people that they tested in connection to the case. But that's all the information they're giving. Mitch, I want to know who it belongs to. Get them in,
mm,
waterboard them to give up the information. Do whatever you got to
why can't
do.
we do
I
that?
know.
Because
There are literally
when it
people
comes
in
to
the
like,
military trained to do that to like people that are captured, to torture them for
like
information. Have you
terrorism
ever
and
seen that
shit.
movie with Samuel
Yeah.
L. Jackson? Oh
Yeah, I
my
love that
god, such a
movie.
good movie. I fully support all of that.
Well, I mean, I guess they could probably claim that they were like intimidated into a confession, a false confession, and then get out.
Well, that doesn't always work.
So I mean,
You can't just claim that you were
yeah, but
intimidated into a false confession. They're like, oh, well, okay, because otherwise everyone would claim that.
yeah, well, I think that's why they don't intimidate people into confessing anymore.
Bullshit. I feel like that happens a lot.
Well, they manipulate shit and they re-ask the same question over and over to like detect small, tiny little details that change and stuff. Which for me, that's scary. I would never get interrogated because I don't commit crimes. But
Yeah,
if I was in an interrogation, that's scary for me because like my little short-term memory, I'll just be rambling like, oh, did I say that? Well, shit, I don't remember.
absolutely. Trust me, man. I'm gonna look guilty from the get go.
I don't know. I just feel like Keely's weird ass drug trafficking hillbilly ass family knows something and they're working together against this girl. Is she alive, motherfucker? Like, just let us
I
know,
know, man.
bitch.
Damn. That's what I want to know. I pray to
Yeah.
God she's not alive and being held hostage somewhere all these years.
So here's something that is weird to me. I found out that her family moved to New York State like after this also. Not directly after it, like probably some years later, but it's not super weird, but if you think about it, like if your kid went missing in the with a small fragment of hope that she would come back one day, like wouldn't you want somebody where she would
Yeah,
go if
but
she were to
yeah,
turn
but
up?
think about it. They were getting all these calls talking about different things that probably happened to Brianna. Maybe they had people popping up at the house too. Maybe they left because they needed privacy. They needed to be left alone and they just accepted the fact that she was never coming home and they wanted to be able to get away and not have those painful reminders. Maybe they just weren't being left alone and that was their only option.
Man, that's lifetime shit. Here's my theory. You ready for this? She did run away.
Okay.
She staged, but listen, she staged her own disappearance. Because she probably, if Keely was on her last strike or something and she didn't want to get locked up, and her whole family is a bunch of hillbilly, violent ass, weird crackheads and shit, maybe she was getting death threats and she was actually scared because allegedly somebody told her don't go to work that night and she
Yeah,
went
that's
anyway.
that's also true.
So maybe that was her opportunity to get the fuck out of there. And so maybe she went to New
All right,
York and then
let me be
somehow
even crazier than you. What if
okay.
what if that fight was staged? What if Brianna said cuz remember they were friends at one point. What if Brianna said, "I need to get out of here. Something's going on. I don't feel safe. Beat my ass." So I have a reason to get away. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's how she staged her own disappearance. She had Keely, beat the crap out of her, make her look like a damsel in distress. No, I'm not going to fight you back. I'm not going to do it. Boom, presses charges. She tells Keely, don't worry about it because I'm going to disappear. These charges are going to get dropped. You're not going to get in trouble. And maybe Keely ain't fucking talking to herself, Brittany. Maybe Keely's messaging back and forth with Brianna under a fake page.
And so who would the person of interest be? Those two, Jackson and whatever the other guy's name is, the two known drug
There's
dealers?
no person of interest because nobody did anything. Brianna left on her own.
Why? That's what I'm saying. What scared her into working with Keely to
maybe
get up
the
out of
drug
there?
dealers scare the shit out of her. But I'm saying, like, I mean, that could be a possibility. That's some shit me and you would do for each other.
I'm just saying, because if she was fucking around with crack and she was paranoid, that probably could be. But that's disrespectful to say when Keely is kind of like who everybody's looking at. You know
Well,
what I
yeah, but
mean?
of
And then
course
her
they would
family.
be.
So why wouldn't Keely like whisper to her mom like, "Hey, don't even worry about it. Don't
Because
even
that's
worry
gonna
about
blow the
it."
whole cover. Maybe her mom, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just trying to think of
Um,
the best possible outcome that doesn't leave Brianna dead, because that would just be a heartbreaking end of the story that's gone on for way too long. I mean, that's like, could you
well,
imagine if she is alive though? That's, you just missed 20 years with your family. Like, how easy is it to just come back and reintegrate yourself with everyone you know?
she probably has no plan to. That's how witness protection people get up out of
I'm talking
there.
about if she didn't leave on her own, but she's found alive.
Mm.
I mean, that happens. God, remember that sick fuck Ariel Castro or whatever the hell his name was that had the three girls in his house for years?
No, I don't. I know Sean Great is a weirdo like that, but he was killing them, so.
Yeah, see, all this that we gotta talk about. I love it.
Yeah, he's definitely on my list. Yeah, I don't know, like, this whole situation, I feel like we've talked about other true crime cases, even off the podcast, because we're only on episode 3, but this case is like there's so many possibilities because she reminds me of me when I was younger. And let me tell you something. My parents didn't know what I had going on, and I put myself in some high risk situations because I was out here living, okay? Like, I was around dangerous people. I could tell stories for days, but anything literally, she could have met somebody that week and it went wrong. You know what I mean? Like, anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Also, there was a bar in the hotel that she worked at. So I'm wondering, like, did she drink at work? You know what I mean? Because she was so new there that they didn't really know her
Yeah, but she
personality.
was
So
17. I don't, you really think that the owner is just gonna let an underage person drink?
is the owner there at 11 something at night? Why would she be
I
working
don't
at a hotel with a
I don't
bar?
know. I mean, I don't know anything about the business. I'm just saying, like, why would an owner risk that, or manager even? Because if she would have left and gotten in an accident, their ass would have been on the line. They'd lose their liquor license.
Yeah, but back in the day, I would have stole. I would have took a drink.
I mean,
Have,
not
you know, look.
everyone's the
One thing
shithead
about a
you
drink.
are.
Okay, she fucking left home early and was smoking crack. Come on now. Some people walk into horrible outcomes, and that's just like the sad reality of it. And this seems to be like one of those cases. Whether or not she staged it, she was running from a friend, her friend didn't want to go to jail after they fought, and she got her locked up, and so now she went missing, and the friend's family allegedly maybe, you know, responsible, or she met a hitchhiker or something. I don't know. It could have been over a boy. There's like too many. It's like rolling dice. Like, you don't know,
There just wasn't a
and that's
big chunk of time. She left work at 11:20, and then we've got a person driving past between 11:30 and 12:30 that already sees her car there and the headlights are on. So, I mean, to get a mile down the road, it takes what, like 2 minutes?
oh yeah, this is and then the year it happened. This is why I don't like old cases because the year matters that it happened because I feel like 2004 everywhere didn't have like
Right.
surveillance. You know,
Internet
like
wasn't like it
that's why
is
I don't like old.
now. We didn't have the
Right.
smartphones. I mean, texting wasn't even
We
like
had
that
dial
big.
up.
I hated texting back then.
Hey, remember when we were in school and some kids had dial up, but if you had DSL, your
Oh
family had
yeah,
money,
I never
bitch.
had DSL.
Oh, you gotta hang the phone up to get
Oh
on the
yeah, and
internet? Broke ass.
every time we did, that shit was a long distance call. Oh my god, when my parents got that bill, we didn't have internet much
Mm.
longer. That shit was
Yeah.
brutal. Oh, same with texting where you had to wait till after 9 when it was free. I don't miss
Mm-hmm.
those days at all.
Yeah.
Anyone that says the good old days was not talking about that time period.
If you're alive today, you're fucking privileged just
I
off the strength.
swear.
Thanks to the struggle us
Your
millennials went
finger
through.
cramping up because you gotta hit the S button so many damn times to get the letter you want.
7777.
But yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah, what a
it
time.
honestly, it didn't even say that Brianna had a cell phone, but back then, would it have mattered? People,
But that's what I'm saying. So if there's no
yeah, people
surveillance
weren't
and
dependent
it
on their
happened within
phones like they
15
are
minutes,
now. I mean, now if somebody disappears without their phone, red flags are raised. Oh my god, they didn't take their phone with them. Like, that's because we're so
yeah, because
dependent
you
on
could
our
track
phones
them.
now.
Yeah. That makes me think, though, if it was just such a short amount of time between leaving and then that
Yeah,
happening,
you're talking
like,
like an hour or less.
here, let me just say this too. Last theory,
Okay.
okay? She worked at a hotel that had a bar in it. What if this was a random ass guest at the hotel that liked how she
Absolutely.
looked? Like,
Somebody
hey,
could
I
have
seen that
followed her
bitch.
out of the bar also.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
yeah, why
mm-mm.
why didn't we go back to why didn't we start there at the bar and question everyone that was there that night?
How long do they keep guest list
I don't know, but
records?
was this a place that took reservations? Like was it a fancier like bar restaurant? I you know what I mean? Like and also
Oh, yeah.
was it the type of place where the regulars are hanging out? Did somebody see something? I feel like a whole lot of people were missed because they focused more on her peers.
Yeah, that's true. If her family or friends or her hobbies don't have anything to do with it and it was just like a random, it could have been one of those
I
hotels
mean, she
where,
disappeared after
like,
leaving work. That should have been the first place they started.
yeah. See,
Or did we question everyone that
that's
was
what
at the
irritates.
party that night and say, "Did you guys hear from Brianna before she left from work? Did she mention her plans changing? Anything like that? Did anybody talk to her?" But remember, she told her mom, they went shopping that day and she just had to go home and get ready for work and then she was gone.
Yeah. There needs to be like a federal protocol because think about like a small town police department where there's like only 6 to 10 on the whole squad, right? And so they know of this girl, right? Because of crack or drug dealers locally that they've probably
Mm-hmm.
locked up. The situation with Keely and her family, they probably went right to that. And when they were asking questions, their eyes, you know how like when you have an idea in your mind, you're looking for a confirmation bias. You're not like really being objective. And then I don't know, there's just too much and it's so far back that I don't know. But the anonymous tips wouldn't happen if it was a random hotel guest in my
Yeah.
mind.
Was there a trucker staying there? Cause boom.
Lot lizards.
Ugh, gross. I hate that term.
And I know some of those like cheaper like 4 hour stay hotels or just like overnight or 10 hour anybody could get you the room and then you just give them the key, you know what I mean? Like it's too easy to just go get a room in somebody's name and then use that room for you, and it could be like a crackhead like, here, I'll give you $20, go give me a room.
Yeah, man, what are we gonna do?
Call the FBI,
We
tell them
gotta
how we
figure this
feel,
out.
send them the link to this episode. I'm actually puzzled by this case, seriously. There's like too many like coulda
I
woulda
wanna I
shouldas
wanna
for me.
hear theories from our listeners. So if you guys listen to the show, if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook or wherever, talk to us. Tell us what you think.
Let
Yeah,
me
help us figure
know.
this out because we're puzzled by this one. It could go 27 different ways, honestly. I would love to know what everyone else's theories are, or if you were close to the case or happen to know about Brianna, any little tidbit information, any look into who she was about around that time frame, or what you knew about her, or what you can remember. You'd be surprised how much the littlest thing can help. It might not mean anything to you, but it could mean something very big to her family or police, and it could help solve this or point someone in a direction into what could have happened if she left on her own, if she doesn't want to be found, if she was taken, just anything. Reach out, let us know.
Yep.
So, what's up next, Brittany?
So, next episode, we're going to cover children who kill.
Ooh,
So, we'll be bringing,
love it.
yep, we'll be bringing a short panel of children who have committed the murders. So, I'm excited
Yep.
about that.
Tiny Michael Myers. I love it.
Hey, you ever watched the Village of the
I've
Damned?
probably seen it when I was little.
them little blonde kids with the
Yeah.
eyeballs, and they would just look
Yeah,
at you.
as
And
creepy as
yeah,
Children of the Corn. Malachi.
yeah.
Bro, get out of here.
I liked Children of the Corn though, but Village of the Damned and those movies, like my mom used to make us watch that, and
I
I don't
uh
know.
I love Pet Cemetery because little Gage, when he comes back and he's a little psychopath, there's nothing cuter than a fucking little 2-year-old running around killing people. I love that. I'm just saying. That's one of my favorite
uh,
parts of the movie.
yeah,
You
right,
don't relate
yep,
to that?
okay.
Well, you got a 2-year-old, so I guess that wouldn't be funny.
And he's vicious too. So,
Yeah. Huh.
okay. Till
Adios,
next time.
amigos.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.